What's up, everybody? Welcome to the brand new set, the brand new $1 million upgrade of the Newberg pod. That's right. We've got my sucker for a pretty face, a framed CD that I framed myself. We've got the Chris Alive 2 draft album jacket cover in a frame. We've obviously got the Newberg uh, circle thing, which some people think it looks like this, but it's not. It's not at all. It's not double fingers. And then we've got my very first promotional photo. Yeah, it's magic. That's how it is. I spent about two, maybe $3 million on the upgrade. My manager was like, "Why do you have pictures that are not in frames? What are you, 12?" And I was like, "I don't know." But I can't. I'm having sort of a scratchy throat situation because of all the smoke here in Los Angeles. And yesterday I had a harrowing experience, so I wanted to share it with y'all about surviving the LA fires. One of the greatest quotes I've heard was I was just downstairs in my garage bringing up Michelle's bag. First off, it's crazy what you have to do in a fire situation. Let me begin by saying there are fires all over Los Angeles. There are right on the by the water in the very wealthy part of Southern California, in the Palisades, Malibu, Santa Monica. There's what is called the Palisades Fire, and it's destroyed thousands of blocks, 3,000 acres, I believe. It's 1,000 structures. So many people lost their homes. Same thing with Malibu, whatever. Not whatever, but I'm just saying same thing with Malibu. So many people have lost their homes. It's just like, and it's over in an instant. Like I was on my Instagram scroll, and it was just in where it's normally a bunch of different people. Hey, come see my show. Hey, this is my life. Hey, this is me making bacon. No, now it's just like I lost everything. Here's my GoFundMe. So many of those, and so many people. It's just so challenging, and it's so heartbreaking to read and see. And then there's also a fire in Pasadena, and it's called the Eaton Fire, and that's gigantic as well. So we're in the middle. I'm in West Hollywood. We're, safe-ish. So I thought. It's a building that's mostly it's in a neighborhood that's a lot of concrete, not a lot of brush, not a lot of hills. The hills are like Hollywood Boulevard. It's like a mile that way, and the evacuate. Anyways, listen. So I'm all over the place because it's just I want to tell my story. So when I was removing Michelle's bags because we had to evacuate. This is the theme of the pod. I saw my neighbor, this guy named Ray, former Jeopardy winner, been on a bunch of different game shows. Lived here since 1993. We talked about the evacuation situation. He's like, "Oh, did you leave last night?" And I'm like, "Yes." And now we're back, and we talked about it. But he said we're very lucky in a city full of people who are currently not lucky, and that is the most accurate scenario that you could possibly do. So you're watching it on TV. We all do. You're watching it. Everybody watches tragedy for the most part through a lens. Very few people get to experience tragedy on the level like most people watch it. So way more people see it than the unfortunate few who actually experience it. Which, by the way, if it makes sense to me because if you're in it, and yesterday we were in it for like 10 hours. I'll tell you all about it. But when you're in it, you don't care about what anybody says on the internet, joke wise. Like there's times when there's a tragedy and I'll think of something and I'm not trying to be an a-hole. I'll just be like, this is what I think. And then someone's like, how dare you? The families and those people. When you're in it, you don't give a fuck about what someone says on Facebook. You don't care what someone says on Twitter or threads, or you're just in it. You're like thinking, I'm going to survive. You're not like, you know what? My house is on fire, but Steve from Dallas made a Palisade strong, wind stronger joke. Come on, man. No one cares. Just you all deal with it differently. We're all experiencing different things in our lives. So here's the funny part. So yesterday I was with Michelle, my roommate, my fiance, my person. I'm with Michelle, and we're like, we should go get some food and get some water just in case. And the night before, we packed a bag. Like we took time and we packed an escape bag, even though the likelihood of something happening was very, very, very slim, very slim. So we pack a bag, and in this bag, I put a sweatshirt. I put some flip flops. What else did I put in there? I put in there my CPAP, and no, I didn't put it in there because I was using it still. Anyways, I just kind of nonchalantly, without even thinking about it, without believing for a second that there was going to be an evacuation situation in Hollywood, I just didn't really care. I didn't really do it. So we're we're driving around, and Michelle's getting all these text messages from these people, and she's stressing out because she's like, this is crazy, and I don't understand it. So I do this guy thing. So we're at Rite Aid, and I'm picking up eye drops because I have fancy eyes. Um, so I pick up eye drops, and I pull over in the parking lot, and I say, listen, I want you to know something, sweetheart. We're gonna be okay. No matter what happens, we're gonna be okay. We're safe. I'm here. I'll protect you. Everything will be okay. So I do the macho dude thing to try to calm her down. And she's worried because, again, you're inundated with it on television and in streams, and people losing everything. It's crazy. So we're in the Rite Aid parking lot. Like, I literally just finished, and I'm like, I love you. We got this. And she's like, okay, all right. And then I turn left onto Fairfax, and I look up to the right, and the entire Runyon Canyon Hill is on fire. And it's not like a roasting marshmallows camping situation. It's a holy fuck. That's really close to where we live. That is really, really, really close to where we live. Oh my God. I'm so full of shit. I'm horrified. But for whatever reason, I stayed calm. And I just said to her, I said, sweetheart, whatever you do, just know it's going to be okay. And she looks to the right and she starts flipping out. And I'm flipping out, but I can't flip out in front of her, because then, like, you're flipping out in front of the person that you're protecting, and it's not a really safe flip out zone. It's just not. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna go home, we're gonna pack a bag, and we're gonna get out of here. And she's like, okay. I'm like, stay calm. And I just kept saying, stay calm, stay calm. And in this moment, it's still very, very surreal. It's very terrifying, but it's just surreal. You can't fathom that you're on the verge of having this fire engulf your existence and just remove everything from your life. So I turned left onto Sunset and immediately right down our street. I pull into our garage, and it's like you can hear helicopters, you can see whatever, but the fire is close. I mean, like less than 2 miles. It's close. And it's like, all right, what do you do? So we're starting to pack, and I'm just kind of walking around because we just got groceries too, and I'm putting away the groceries, and part of me is like, should I just cook? Everything's going to be okay, because you have a million different thoughts. One of the thoughts is not, I'm about to lose everything I have in my life. One of the thoughts is, this is going to be okay. Everything's always been okay. It's going to be okay. But what if this is the time that it isn't? So Michelle is packing her stuff, and I'm just kind of watching the news and kind of listening. And all of a sudden, we get a knock, 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 knock. Go. You need to go. You need to get out now. And then it's like, oh, fuck. What have I been doing with these last 25 minutes? Trying to walk in circles, thinking it's going to go away, thinking that the gusts of wind, which are incredibly strong, are going to not. And I'm like, well, maybe it's going to blow it the other way. Maybe it's not. And you try to rationalize. It's sort of like when you go to the doctor and you're sick. You go to the doctor because you want the doctor to tell you it's going to be fine. Just take this and you'll be cool. But sometimes there's going to be situations where the doctor's like, you might want to put your affairs in order. So this was a real life, you might want to put your affairs in order situation. And that's what it was like, fuck. So I literally, at this point in time, I grab my suitcase. In my suitcase, I throw my passport, I throw my CPAP, and then I grabbed some Chips Ahoy, some cookies. No, I don't normally even eat Chips Ahoy. I don't, but for whatever reason, I bought some yesterday because I thought they were non-perishable. Not a lot of protein, not a lot of good quality eating for you, but I got them and I threw them in the bag and I was ready to go. I was like, that's it. Oh, and I grabbed my 2 guitars. 2 guitars, CPAP, passport, Chips Ahoy. I'm ready. She took a little longer. And then I had to move her along. I was like, baby, we got to go. She managed to dump dead body amounts of weight into 2 giant laundry bags. And we were in the car and packed in seconds. So now you're in the car and you're faced with, where do we go? I mean, how many people actually have an evacuation plan? It's not something that happens repeatedly. It's not something that happens all the time. It's very rare that you're in an evacuation situation. And as my neighbors were leaving, I was like, where are you guys going? And they said, Long Beach. I was like, that sounds fun. We're going to go to Long Beach. So I'm like, I guess we're going to go to Long Beach. But keep in mind, every single person who was evacuating at the same time, who all got the mandatory evacuation notice, was also leaving. So you have, it's like consider trying to leave a football game. That's your neighborhood, and everybody is just trying to get the fuck away. Which is why now it makes so much sense when tragically you see those empty abandoned cars that were just torched by a fire, because there's gridlock. There's only so many places to go. So now we're in our car and we're headed towards Long Beach, I guess, but not really, because it's still trying to, like, I'm still sort of in shock. And so I'm talking to my friends, and of course you're getting bombarded with kindness from people who are like, come stay here. It's the nicest thing in the world. Come stay in Texas. Come stay in Temecula. Come stay in Vegas. All these just like, come stay in Reno. All of these super nice people just offering you whatever you want. That's one thing. And other people are like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So your phone's blowing up, but you're trying to put it together as to what you want to do. And there's nothing you want to do. The only thing you want to do is you want to be home and you want to be safe, but you're not. You're in this situation where you're like, fuck, what am I going to do? So we just started driving very slowly, and we got about a mile away, and it had been 3 hours. I've been communicating with my friends in the neighborhood. Some people live on other sides of the street, which weren't in the evacuation area, who had good views of the fire, and they kept sending me pictures of the fire. The LAFD, by the way, is phenomenal. They kicked the shit out of this Sunset Hollywood fire, but they kept sending me pictures, and I would see it getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I could physically see it. So eventually, after about 5 hours, I was able to talk Michelle into, I said, let's go back home. There's no more traffic now. Let's swing by and kind of jump up on our roof and look and see what it's like. Which, thinking back, was either the dumbest idea. It's like the ultimate, I'm white, but I'm not let's run towards the gunfire and see who's shooting white. But it's the same thing, because you're like, I know that they said leave because everything's gone, but maybe I should go back and look and just see if we're dead. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just I get human beings. I understand it now. I get why people ran back up in the tower in 9/11. You want to say, you want to assess, you want to figure it out for your situation. So we go back and it was smaller. And then they turned our mandatory into a warning, but we were still ready to go. And we didn't get to bed till 5 o'clock in the morning, because we kept waiting, to see what was up. But so many different people had so many different experiences. My friend Nicole reached out to me. She's like, I'm on a plane right now. I saw your evacuation post. She's like, the keys to my house are in my garage. Go there, stay there. You're safe there. And then 25 minutes later, her whole neighborhood was up in flames. So it's like, so you're, again, everybody's experience is completely different. And there's so many conspiracy theories as far as saying, oh, well, State Farm canceled all of these different fire insurance policies weeks before. And now people are like, oh, it's a cash grab. And everybody is talking about, oh, good thing Luigi is in jail because he'd be killing some insurance CEO. Everybody's the crazy talk that goes on. But the reality is, I'm just lucky. We're just lucky. So many people today are not lucky. If you look online, it's just real. It's so real. It's people talking about the things that they collected. And when you're in that mindset, as someone who was just in that mindset, it's very strange how fast and how slow things go. It's a million miles an hour and it's come back here, rabbit, because you don't know what to do. It's something that you're faced with that you've never experienced, something you've never processed. It's arguably, it was arguably one of the most terrifying and surreal nights of my life because I didn't know what was going to happen. I've experienced challenges in my past, we all have, but you never really know how to process it until you're in it. And what makes us luckier than other people? I don't know. And what makes other people even luckier than us? I don't know. But you just deal with the hand that you're dealt with and you do the best you can. But in that situation, it's like they talk about in that 10,000 Hours book by Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about how when like less than it's either zero point 0.7 of a second or 7 seconds when the cop makes the decision to shoot, and how even though it's such a split decision and super fast, cops all talk about how much time they have because it seems so long to make the decision to fire versus not. And it felt exactly like that. Go now, go now. What made me think I need to flee? I'll tell you what made me think my two guitars was like, because I'm going to need to work again. If I don't have a place to live, am I going to busk? Am I going to drop my computer too? You know, I think Michelle packed my microphone. Like I immediately started thinking, how will I survive? It never was, this is bullshit. I can't believe this is happening. It was, how will I survive? And that's all I've ever done is try to survive. Through COVID, we all survived, except for the people who didn't survive. But again, they're not listening to this show, so it's okay. They get it. There was a story in the news in Los Angeles, and they kept it on repeat. There was a father and a daughter who were living in I want to say near the Eaton fire, but maybe it was Pasadena, and they were living together, and they had their get out now orders, and they were like, go. And he said, no, I'm going to stay and I'm going to defend my house. That was his choice. And he stayed and he fought off the fire with a garden hose, I guess for as long as he could. He lost his life and they still couldn't get to him. So 2 days later, he was still in front of the house because the coroners couldn't get there to remove the body holding a hose. And you hear harrowing stories like that all the time. And people who just jump in and want to help. And that's what I feel about all of the people who contacted us. It's like there were so many people who wanted to help. And I don't know if I would have made the decision to defend my home with a garden hose, but also I get it. You're talking about like everything that you've ever wanted to experience and everything that you've ever, like this is the past 12, 15 years of my life is in this place. I didn't think to take this sign. I didn't think to take any of this stuff. And it's all very important to me. I don't even think I took my Detroit hat. You just don't know until you're in it. So many stories, people looting. What the fuck? Like there's like with as much good and as much wonderful and kind-hearted people that exist in this world, there is also pure evil. Like I'm sure some of these fires were arson. Some fucker or in some corporation or some individual is like, ha ha ha. There are people pulling fire alarms in buildings. What the fuck are you doing? What are you trying to pull people away from real fires for? To do the stuff. There's absolutely pure evil. There's been people arrested. Like once everybody evacuated from the Sunset Fire, they arrested a bunch of people who were hanging out in front of buildings, just, not living there, just waiting to go and steal shit. Fuck you. What are you doing? Get some sort of purpose. But who knows if that person isn't doing that because they lost everything and they want to take it. I mean, you never know what situation someone's in until you're in it yourself. And I gotta say, as I was talking about, the fire situation was crazy. So it's like, now what? Now it's beautiful out. It's 70 degrees. Can't go outside. The smoke is like the thickest it's been. I went outside to get our bags out of my car, and they're still packed and they're still by the door just in case. Which you think, why wouldn't you keep them in the car? Because this is Los Angeles. People break into cars all the time. I'm not doing that. I'm not keeping my stuff out there. I'm keeping it in here. Do I have insurance? Yes. But did I find out fire is not covered in that insurance? Yes. Did I try to get insurance today for fire insurance? And is it not possible? Yes. So it's like there's a lot. So what do you have renter's insurance for? What do you there's so many different experiences. So I was lucky. We were lucky. It was very, very strange. And I'm very happy to be one of the lucky ones. And I don't know what's going to happen with the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. I have no idea. An entire city was wiped out. Like the Palisades, it's gone. And that was like this wealthy, fantastic area where everybody who works hard to achieve success gets to go and live. And now it's like, bye, it's gone. That's devastating. That's so many different people. And it's just there's nobody auditioning for anything. Who would audition in a time like that? Like there was supposed to be a comedy show yesterday. It still went on. It eventually got evacuated. But who wants to do a comedy show during an evacuation? I understand that comics think that we're essential, but there is a realistic situation where you're like, hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the Laugh Factory. Hey, it's good to be here tonight. It's a $5 flaming margaritas. That's right, yeah, with proof of homelessness. Well, you're obviously all homeless now. Can I get a round of applause for the $5 margarita? What the fuck? Like, who would do that? That's bananas to me. I don't. Not that the Laugh Factory did that. The Laugh Factory was fantastic. They were the command post for the LAFD. And plus, that was another reason I felt somewhat safe enough to come home, was because the fire department presence around our neighborhood was so gigantic. It was ready in preparation to fight. I felt more confident and more comfortable in doing so. So, it is what it is. It is so many different things. So I wanted to cover a few more different things before going. But I don't know. It's just a weird experience. I wanted to talk about it. I haven't. This is the first podcast of the year. Why not make it, interesting and relevant? But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the entertainment business. I was talking to Sandra from CBS Detroit this morning, and she was interviewing me, and she's like, "Are you scared? Do you want to leave? Do you think you should come back to Detroit?" I was like, "Am I scared? I don't think so. Do I want to leave? Maybe. I don't think so. Do I want to come back to Detroit? Always, but I don't want to live. I've lived there for 30 whatever years. I want to pursue my dream of entertainment. I want to write comedy. I want to be in a place where I'm allowed to write comedy. And if that place is riddled with wildflowers, Hi, everybody. I'm going to get some more water. If that place is just like riddled with wildfires and crazy crime and whatever, if that's what I need to go through to get through it, to be able to do what it is that I want to do in life. Look, I'm funny. I know that. I've made a living at it for years. I know that I'm funny to the point where there's people who I have fans and they're supportive of me. And I know that I'm funny because I make people pissed off and angry and they say horrible, hurtful shit to me. It's because I'm good at what I do. I know how to write jokes. I know how to make people happy. I know how to make myself happy by writing jokes. This is what I do. But I haven't worked since August. That scares the shit out of me. I haven't worked since August. I've started to take stand-up shows again because I have to go on the road. Who wants to go on the road at fucking 54? I mean, unless you're doing private jets and tour buses, it's not the funnest. I mean, it's traveling's tough, but it's what I do. It's who I am. It's what I'm about. So what am I going to do? Change? No, I just play the hand that's dealt to me and do the best. Speaking of which, tonight, CBS, January 9th, 8 p.m., Hollywood Squares. Please watch it, share it, laugh. I was the joke writer. I worked with 5 other incredible funny people. We all wrote jokes. My title was the joke writer. So many of those people wrote way better jokes than me. I was so proud to be on the team. Um, it was a gift. Joey and Amanda and Rob and David and two other people who worked out of state that I never really met. That's why I don't remember. But there was like 6 of us, and the team was just fire, and it was just a gift to be a part of it. There's a look for the episode with Margaret Cho where she talks about Dildo Island. That was my question. And I tell you, if it was a runner for the whole episode. I don't know when that's coming on, but I know it's coming on, and it's going to be great. Yeah. What else? I don't know. What else can you talk about? You're lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be alive. We're all in a cool place. I spent $1 million on these 4 photographs in the new set in the new year. I'm going to be looking forward to doing a lot more cool conversations and interviews. And Hannah will be back. I don't know where Hannah is today, but I know she's safe. But being in a fire situation is horrible because it's immediate and you could just disappear in a second. And I feel so lucky and I feel so loved by all of the people who reached out. Thank you so much. It's really hard to express how cool it is to feel that appreciated. And it's not from a fan level, it's from a friend level. It's people that you haven't talked to in years. Take my house, take my whatever. People, just like people, there's so many good people. I love that. Episode 86 is continuing on. Also, on a side note, for whatever it's worth, I teach a comedy class, and I'm not promoting it, but just explain this to me. I teach a comedy class. My first class had 8 students. 8. You know what? 8 students. 2 of them finished. 2 of them. 2 of the 8. 2 of them. All 8 paid me. 2 finished. The other 6 just kind of were like, yeah, I guess do you think it's easy to write? I'm trying to teach you. There's deadlines. There's things. I'm not like, in my day, that voice actually sounds better than but just, I don't understand it. And then in my second class, 4 students, paid by all 4. None of them have done the work. This is the greatest class ever. I create this, I say to people, what do you want to do? What kind of comic do you want to be? How do you want to write? What do you want to learn? I've got 25 years of experience writing. I've got 15 years of experience writing for television. I'm in the guild. I can write. I know how to write. I've learned. I've studied. I know how to write. If you're trying to do it, I was trying to do it too. I took classes. I read books. I wanted to learn. And the fun part about comics when you're young is you think you know everything, and you think you know your style, and you think you know, and you don't. You know some stuff, but you get older and you recognize, gosh, I have so much more to learn. Gosh, there's so many more things that I could do. So I send these people these letters, and I'm like, fill out this questionnaire. Who are your favorite comics? What kind of comedian do you want to be? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you want to learn? How do you want to learn it? Tell me about it. And they all answer it. They do the sheet. And so then I spend hours tailoring a 4-week course for these individual people that I send the thing to, and then they do the work, and then I talk to them about it, and I give them notes and observations and ideas. I don't write for them. I just do different things to help them pull things out of themselves. And some of them are like, yeah, I don't know if that's more for me. I was looking for more of a Zoom class. Okay, cool. Some people are like, yeah, I'm totally going to do it, and then ghost, and then don't do it. And other people are like, yeah, man, I'm really excited to do the work. And then they do what? Just explain young people to me. Explain decisions and explain success to me without effort, without feeling uncomfortable, without trying to win. I don't get it. I love you though. Thank you to the 12 people who've paid me and the 10 who've done nothing, but just pay me. You're the best. What else? Anything else? No, I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say Happy New Year, everybody. The fire experience was very weird. I'm glad I'm okay. I'm glad Michelle's okay. I'm glad to have people like you in my life that care enough to listen to this and care enough to reach out. If you like the show, please follow it on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Hit like and subscribe if you like it. Follow it. You know what I mean. Follow us. Do all the things. That's all I can say. I'm coming to Detroit February 27, 28, March 1st. I'm coming to Halifax Comedy Club April 8, 9. I've got a Reno Laugh Factory date coming up, but it's not solid yet. And I'll be at the Comedy Magic Club this Friday. You can follow me on Instagram, The Chris Army, and that's all my social media, threads, everything else. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for listening to the show. It's free. Final thing. That's what I wanted to say. This is the story I want to end with. It would be so hard to make it, but it's not as hard. No, I'm sorry. Let me start again. It's hard to go after something in entertainment and not make it, but it's harder to make it. Just imagine. You make a decision to be a performer or an entertainer or do whatever it is you want to do, but this is specifically about entertaining. You make a decision to be an entertainer. You pick up a guitar, you decide that you want to tap dance, you want to sing, you want to tell jokes, you want to be an artist, whatever. You decide you buy a guitar. And no one tells you when you buy a guitar, you're going to have uncomfortable dexterity in your fingers, and it's going to be very challenging for you to make specific chords and bar chords and different things. And no one tells you when you want to act that you're going to have to take acting classes, and you're going to have to look at a script, and you're going to have to read the beats of the script and decide what the writer is trying to say and how the translation and the history of the character. And when you tell jokes, no one tells you that you're going to have to be funny and you're going to have to be interesting and have a unique perspective and a point of view. When you sing, you're mostly gifted and blessed, but obviously you can learn to sing better and get stronger and continue to succeed. But we're focusing on entertainment. Let's say you decide you want to be an actor or a musician or an entertainer, and you work hard, and then you've got practice and practice and practice and travel and auditions and more auditions and more practice and more classes and more studying and more practice and more classes and more travel and hardships and letdowns and miniature successes and big successes, followed by a bunch more of failures and then occasional success and then long periods of time with nothing, and then practice and practice and travel and practice and honing your craft and creating a new set and learning a new character. And then all of a sudden you finally have success on a major level. You finally blow up. You finally become this person who is appreciated by the public. Let's say you get a nomination for an award, a Grammy or a Golden Globe or Academy Award or an Emmy or a Tony. And you're nominated with 5 other people who are just as talented, who went through the same experience as you did. And of course, you're up against people who are younger than you and prettier than you and more talented than you and better than you, and people who are thinking the same thing about you. And all of a sudden they call your name. They call your name. You're like, ladies and gentlemen, you. And you're like, holy fuck, this is my chance. This is 35 years of hard work, dedication, determination. I'm going to be able to say something in front of people. 35 years I've waited for this moment. I've planned this speech. I've written this speech. I know this speech. I'm so excited. And you get up there and you stand in front of the microphone. You're so flustered. You're like, there's 35 years of people that I want to thank, and I have 60 seconds. And then you've killed yourself. You've 35 years. And a minute goes by and you're still like, and another thing. And because your brain is racing and whatever. And then some a-hole is like, wrap it up, and starts to play music. And they want you to get the fuck off the stage. 35 years for 1 minute. Fuck that. Why was I not a lawyer? Like, I should have gone to law school. That would have been way easier. All right. I love you guys. I hope you thought that was funny. My roommate didn't. Stay safe, y'all.